Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1, also known as Team Blue in the north, ending with Team 2, or also known as Red Team in the south. Starting off with the rear guard air slot player of Team 1, it is the player of Pavor going first land as a Cybran. He is an amethyst purple, and he is a little over a 2100 rating. To his west in royal blue, we have the player of Kenny Lee 090 going first land as a Seraphim. He is almost just 2 points away from being a 1700. And last but not least here for Team Blue in the north for Team 1, we have CM Nicholas going first land as another Seraphim for the blue team. He is in Stitch Blue, and he is a little bit over a 1400. So for Team 1 side of things, or Team Blue, or the northern team, or whatever nomenclature you want to use, they have 2 Seraphim, 1 Cybran, no Aeon, no UEF for Team 1. Let's go ahead down south, starting off with the rear guard air slot of Team 2. In orange, the color orange, we have Bottle of Water going first and second land, most likely third air. Surprisingly, he's not going second air, which is usually the typical build over for air placement. Maybe he wants to get more engineers out on the field before this stuff gets crazy. He is, of course, a UEF player, and he is pretty close to a 1900 rating. To his east in Chevy Crimson, another UEF player for Team 2. It is Celine Volieri. Voleri? I think that's how you say that. Going first land, second air, the typical build order in, the air slot in the rear. He is another UVA player for Team 2. He is in Chevy Crimson, and he is a little bit over an 1800. And last but not least there, in the eastern side for Team 2 in Ruby Red, already moving around the map here, we have the player of System Failure going first land, second air. You can see that in the distance over there next to that hydrocarbon. And of course, he is Cybran, and he is almost smack dab in the middle of between 15 and 1600, being 15 and a half. And for Team 2, for their racial makeup, lineup, whatever the case you want to call it, we have 2 UEF and 1 Cybran. No Aeon making an appearance in this match. Apologies to those loyal to the princess. Let's go ahead and take a look at Reclaim here. Currently on the map, still at almost 3 minutes. I saw 6,700 just before the numbers went down. So not really a lot for our players to scoop up. I'd say maybe about 7,000, but give or take. So a little bit over 1,000 per player. Not anything to scoff at, because it is 3v3 masses, very tight. And as you can see, the exploration, the expansion here for Team 1 and Team 2 is very underway. There's a lot of mexes in the middle that actually aren't really in one side or the other's side of things. We do have a group of mexes here to the east that will pretty much stay in Team 1 and Team 2 stands for the time being. Same thing here on the western side. But we have, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 mexes essentially in the middle of the map that are pretty under contention, especially I'd say at least these 4 and these 4 of the middle. The other 2 on the side probably won't be taken out quite easily in terms of fire basing and whatnot, but we are seeing Team 1 getting the better handle of moving south. You can already see mexes start to be scooped up. We have a little bit of a Tham and a Selene moving here to the south, trying to take out some early units here. We do have some strikers in defense, and we also have a striker defending a Snoop as well. So Team 2 is prepared for this incoming threat that they don't know about, but they'll encounter it here pretty soon. And there are a couple of pawns here to the west and the east, and they do sit very close to kind of the center player here for both Team 1 and Team 2. So maybe we'll see some cruiser action here from Team 2's players, either probably from the UEF players, at least on this western side. This eastern side, maybe we'll see something with some destroyers, those Cybran destroyers here on the eastern side for Team 1's player Pavor, but we'll just have to see as time goes on. We're approaching the 5-minute mark. You can see the front lines starting to establish themselves. Those look like Team 2's player of System Failure putting a little more effort into his firebase in the east versus this position in the middle here for Seal. We do, give him a little credit. It is a large amount of land to take care of just by himself. We do see similar positioning here for both teams in the west and the east. And so it does look like a lot of the action will at least occur in the middle for the time being. We are seeing a little bit more pressure coming off from the northern player of Kenny Lee. He is trying to move against Seal here in the south. Seal is going on a gun damage and range upgrade for that UEF commander. Get some nice efficiency here from these THAMs. But, it's going to take a couple of seconds to get that upgrade up and running. And as we noted before, Team 1 is getting a better handle on, of course, the early spam efforts to build up a nice forward defensive line. But it does look like Team 2 is holding a little bit back, and they're probably focusing more on teching up in terms of either their technology in the mech side of things or in the unit side of things. Usually it's a little bit of both. T2 is on the way here for the air player of Bottle of Water. We should see a similar move by the air player of Team 1. No, he hasn't gone T2 as of yet, or at least started the upgrade for it. So we have the orange player, Bottle of Water, on that upgrade a little bit faster than his mirror. Bottle of Water is entangled to the west against CM Nicholas. CM Nicholas trying to jam up his his pathing with his commander, trying to get some nice shots into that chassis. It does look like Bottle of Water suffering a decent amount of hit points, less than his opponent, almost 1,000, which, if a calm suicide, murder-suicide does occur, it can occur, I should say, because the comm is, of course, below 2,500, at least in the discrepancy, if they were both to shoot at each other for a while. But one PD will help assist with defense, shove CM Nicholas back. These THAMs are trying to go after the early, forward plays here, trying to at least push back Team 2 on this western side. Doesn't get the job done. And as you can see, those forward lines starting to really cement themselves here. The comm with the upgrade of Seal pushing forward against Kenny Lee. He is almost done with that upgrade, so he will sit there and let that finish. His THAMs will retreat. There's some Zooey in there as well. Those will be killed off very quickly. And the gun upgrades, I should say, have been finished. Now it's a calm v calm action in the middle for Team 1 and Team 2. Team 1's player of Kenny Lee getting in behind Team 2's player of Seal. Not the best positioning, trying to go after the units of those strikers, and a couple of engineers in the mix too. Not the best idea to be on the front. Oh, and he's dead. I was gonna say, not the best idea to have your engineers on the front line. Seal now looking kind of a little worse for wear. Now he's the one being surrounded. Team 1 and Team 2 switching who is being surrounded, who is going which way. We don't see anything to the west except for for upgrading the comms for both players. We have, of course, the speed and range versus the damage and range. And to the east, no upgrades as of yet, but that will probably happen here soon. All players are on the front lines. They're not sitting in the main bases. This is a pretty high-rated game, as stated earlier. Team 1 has the highest-rated player in the game, of course, but Team 2 does have the second and the third highest. So, it does kind of balance each other out. At 99%, the matchmaker, balancer, whatever you want to call it, does do a great job of doing its best, but it's not perfect. It cannot ever be 100%. Even if it just goes just based on number, it is very, very difficult to have an exact even number for both teams. And it does look like both comms are, it's very suffering here. They run into one another, not firing at one another. But it does look like Seal will transfer his targeting reticle on to Kenny Lee, and both comms will retreat. They're trying to stay at range. There's a lot of reclaim to scoop up. Team 1's player of Kenny doing a very good job of scooping up that reclaim. Same here on the southern side of things, but it does look like Team 1 getting a better end of the deal for now. Team 1 it's hovering between Team 1 and Team 2 in the lead for mass per second. Upgrade on the way here to the east here for Pavor. And we have to the west, the comm of CM Nicholas has pushed Bottle of Water back. He is suffering a decent amount of hit points. He's below 50%, close to a little over 33%, but Bottle of Water is now completely surrounded, has no incoming units for himself to protect with, and now it's just a matter of time. He cannot stop moving. If he stops moving, he is dead, and even if he doesn't stop moving, he probably still is dead. And that'd be a great grab by Team 1, kicking their highest rated player, their enemy's team's highest rated player out of the game this early, and not Kenny, but Bottle of Water will disappear in this game, and there he goes in a fiery ball of nuclear waste. CM Nicholas below 2,000 hit points is in a very dangerous spot. 1,600 hit points, says Bottle of Water. But the calm of Kenny goes down as well. It is a trade here between Team 1 and Team 2. It is now a 2v2 game. And to be fair, if Team 1 traded their 1,700 for Team 2 is essentially 1,900. They are going to take that trade every day of the week. But we are seeing a pillar on the front lines with, of course, their added DPS and hit points, making it a little bit difficult for CM Nicholas to take those units out very quickly. He has gotten a record veterancy to boost his hit points and regen up, but he's fallen back in the red. Engineers hurriedly trying to build T1 PD to defend the commander. It's going to be close. I don't think they'll get it online. Those engineers. How's the progress bar looking? All it needs is one hit point to stay online, and it does finish, providing some nice needed benefit here for Nicholas on the western side of the map. We do see engagements here to the east. I think Nicholas is going to be able to get away from that very barely though. Now at 2,700 and is ripping up at 22 hit points a second. Decent hit point regen here for the play of CM Nicholas at the 11-minute mark. This game is blown wide open, even though the loss of Team 1's play of Kenny Lee has deterred the momentum, at least most of it, for Team 1 in the middle. They have severely started to push Team 2's player of Seal back. He was severely wounded. That is a lot of hit points. Looks like there was a bombing run coming after him, and he has survived for the time being. And to the east, we have Pavor still pushing this eastern side constantly. System failure, trying to establish a naval facility on this eastern side of the map. Team 1 and Team 2 still fighting in the west. Does look like there's a little bit more of momentum here for Team 2. Starting to get back to where the player of Bottle of Water at least was before he died. Bomber's still going after Seal. He's trying to dodge as much as he can. That bomber misses its target. And man, he is down. But he's been very suffering this game. He's almost at 3-star veterancy. And these units are still bearing down his neck. Team 1 is not letting up the pressure. They've moved back a little bit, at least in terms of the comm. He's taken some hit point damage, so he needs to retreat. He is the Cybern, the weakest of the 4 commanders in terms of base hit points. But it does look like Seal is out of trouble for now. A T3 Strap Bomber would be very choice here for Team 1 or Team 2, depending on who the target is and how much AA is around them. But I feel like if a T3 bomber was on the line, it could go after, either player if either team had one at least online. T3 has been achieved here for Team 2's player. It was Bottle of Water, but Seal, started expanding that air grid as we speak. Team 1, have they finished theirs? No, they have T2 and they're upgrading T3 as we speak. So this could be a very good opportunity for Team 2, and they are taking it. They're going for the bomber first. They're building that actually quite quickly. They have a T3 PGen coming online, a second one as well, to help with the energy costs of producing a T3 Strat Bomber here at 13 minutes. We have T2 Torp Bombers here in the air. They have been shot down. Looks like they're targeting the naval facility. Gun, speed, and range going down here for system failure. He has no boats online. Does look like they're going after the subs here in the water, and looks like one is not going to make it. Team 2 is defenseless here in the east. They need some air support or some sort of support. We have a large string of units coming out from CM Nicholas to intercept these units coming in from Seal on the front line. And as I mentioned earlier, these middle mechs is, not staying online very long, at least for Team 2 for the time being. We do see T2 Ilshi's on the field here for Pavor, trying to use that very, very, very annoying T2.5 unit here at 13-14 minutes in this game. How's that Strat Bomber? I know it's online. At least it's going to be pretty close. We have, there it is. Biplane will notice where the comm is. And there goes the Ambassador honing in on CM Nicholas's position. He's trying to build T2 flag, which will do a little bit against that bomber. But the first one has dropped. Takes out a decent chunk of hit points. He's repping up at 32 hit points a second. Team 1's interceptors trying to do what they can to protect the comm, and that bomber does have 4,000 hit points on its aircraft. I was gonna say chassis, but aircraft. That bomb does a little bit of AoE damage, but not a whole lot. Essentially most of the damage was not negated but avoided. You see a buildup of LCC to the east here for Pavor. Very dangerous here. Of course, we know how dangerous they are in FAF. There goes, oh man, CM Nicholas is just dodging these. Oh, doesn't even look like that one singed him. Leave bottle. Something about, what's going on with leave bottle? Maybe he has a connection issue, possibly. And we have CM Nicholas taking that to the face, but we do have more interceptors and more AA coming online as we speak. A second bomber would be very, very powerful here for Team 2. I think they might just stick with one for now. That bomber is coming in inbound. CM Nicholas will dodge most of the damage, but it will drop in the red. Is there a second bomber on the way? There is, but I have to go through 7 more ASFs first. That's kind of a missed opportunity there. There goes the bomb. Lands pretty close. Drops him below 400 hit points. One just side hit will kill CM Nicholas here before 20 minutes. And it looks like maybe that is the case. T3 has come online here for Team 1's player Pavor. Will that bomb connect? And it won't. He got another rank in veterancy. That has got to hurt. That comm was almost dead. If the units nearby weren't there, it looks like he would have been dead. But that bomber is shot down, protecting CM Nicholas here for now. And don't know about that play. Having those units going might make or break the game, but it will, at least assist with dealing with Nicholas. He's dropped him below 1,500 hit points. He's struggling. He's trying to get out of range of some of those units in the south. Will he make it out of range? The units need to keep firing if they want to kill him off. Below 300 hit points. Below 200. Oh, almost below. He makes it out once again. Man, he is, not dead yet. And he needs to get out. He needs to get in that water right now. There is a pillar on its way. Overcharge will kill him. Well, the pillar, not the comm. And that strap bomber needs to come online. The only issue is that if he goes in the water, Team 2 could spot him and then just use torp bombers, because there's nothing defending, Nicholas on this western side. The ASFs are really the only choice for Pavor and Team 1 in general. And because of the, hyper focus on ASF, the eastern side has collapsed. Does look like the player system failure trying to at least knock out the naval presence here for Pavor. And those ASFs are just just hanging around him. Does not want to leave him out of their sight. That bomber is inbound. Will he make it? That bomber doesn't do enough damage for one bomb. There he goes, but he does kill him off. I am mistaken. That bomber was enough, and CM Nicholas has been deleted from this game. He survived a very long time, but it does look like he has, at least for Team 2, worn out his welcome. And now it is a 2v1 before 20 minutes. This game goes on for a little under an hour. So that bomber does get shot down. Should have just brought that back to base, but still the mission has been completed here for Seal, getting revenge here for his teammate, a bottle of water. And now it is again a 2v1 scenario. The upside is one more player and Team 2 wins. The downside is Team 1's player Pavor has everything under his control. So he has all the mass, all the energy, all the everything. And as time goes on, of course, his APM will take a hit, but he is a 2100, so he, given his skill and experience, he'll be able to mitigate that with a decent amount of time. Eventually, everyone succumbs to subcom brain. It's just a thing. It just happens. There's no getting around it. It just is a thing. It's just what I've noticed is the higher rating you are, the more, the farther you are able to push that off, essentially. So it's like, what's not immunity? What's the tolerant? Not tolerance. What's the, what's it called? There's a word for it, where you're used to a certain drug or a certain thing. It's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me until I remember. Anyway, I'll have to be thinking about it. But Team 2's player system failure has positioned himself nicely with all these rhinos here. He's using them as his main front line, as he uses his comm for a little bit of range damage. Still trying to take out those naval facilities. There's one more left online. Team 2's air from Seal will come in and deal with that here pretty soon. There's one frigate hanging down here, but that's really about it. 4,000 reclaim, says Kenny. Yeah, there's a decent amount of reclaim in this mix. Not game breaking as of yet, but of course, as time goes on, we're at 27,000 currently. The number just goes higher and higher, especially with T2, T3 units starting to pop out on the field. Nice group of Ilshis here for Pavor, trying to just roam around the map. Team 2 is just spreading constantly. These middle mexes are just constantly getting hit. Neither team can hold on for them hold on to them for long. We have some whalers over here for Pavor trying to eliminate the loyalists. There's no AA in this mix, of course, so those whalers are free to harass these loyalists in the middle here for Team 1. It is 20 minutes here, almost on the dot. Let me know down in the comments who do you think is currently going to win. Pavor, the highest rated player in the game, is left alone. His 2 other teammates were eliminated. Team 2 has the numbers in terms of 2 commanders left online. However, their highest rated player has bit the dust. And in terms of eco, Team 2 is winning currently, but I don't expect it to be their... I mean, it depends. If they keep expanding, keep pushing, that will stay. But if Team 1's player, Pavor, does end up catching a break and just start clobbering one side of the map, that number will definitely switch to his favor. So let me know down in the comments who do you think is going to currently win at 20 minutes and 30 seconds. Like the video if you found it very enjoyable, and of course hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. This video was recorded the day I hit 750. The one that was released yesterday was not. It was recorded like the day before. I just want to shout out to everyone for helping me reach 750 subscribers here on the channel, or more at the probably the present time. And if you haven't done so already, hop over to the community page and vote for what kind of video you want the 750 milestone cast to be, because I want to hear what everyone has to say, because I want your opinions. I want to make sure I make content that you want to watch. We have in the east a nice group of T3 units. Those loyalists were able to get back to base. Would like to see at least some T2 flak in the area to prevent some, gunship rushes here from Pavor. He's sitting in the water. That is a good play. He wants to stay out of harm's way for now. We see some T2 Stingers here to the east. Not really a lot of firepower on these things. They take out a radar. That's not terrible. Looks like they're going after these mexes, and they're going to be eliminated quite quickly. But it does just say, okay, teammate system failure, just push on through. Those ASFs are hovering over this position. I wouldn't be surprised to see some gunships. There are some Othams on approach, well, some being one. But one T3 unit at this stage can make somewhat of a difference. Of course, if you've heard my commentary and other casts about the power of T2 units in mass, especially Ilshis, it really, there's a lot to be left desired. And these units are just going to go straight for that air grid, ignoring everything else. The comm pops out of the water. If the unit's diverted, they could go after the comm here. They have enough firepower with these loyalists. They aren't focusing the comm. This is a huge mistake here. You could send all these units to go attack the comm, or at least force it back in the water, and the pings go down on Pavor saying the comm is right there. Go target him. It will at least force him back in the water at the minimum. Some units are kind of hard and having a hard time getting an angle on him. Pavor needs or wants to stay out of the water to ensure he can protect his base, but his air grid is starting to suffer. The Pigeons are going to be the main targets here. The T2 one, not as bad to lose here at this stage with the T3s, but of course losing the T3s is very, very bad here for his air grid, allowing Team 2 to gain air control. And that air grid goes up in smoke. With the T3 air headquarters is still online for now, but I don't think for long it is will be. And there it goes. T3 air headquarters is down. I would not be surprised to see Pavor hop back in the water. He's trying to hold off the push, but he knows it's too far gone. This would be nothing worth saving here. He needs to expand somewhere else. Probably this position's not too bad. Has a couple of air facilities already online. This one has a lot of room back here as well, and some PD for protection. So, there is room for him to expand, but his entire original base is gone. At 23 minutes, it is off the map. Small group of units still online, but intercepting units will make it a little bit difficult to make it back to base. But there are more loyalists here on the front line for system failure, so they're going to have a window of opportunity. And more T3 units roaming around the map here on this eastern side. You can see just the toll at 24 minutes the APM is really having on this player Pavor. He's trying to do as much as he can, but he has 2 players to attack with that. They're doing a very good job, mind you, taking up the entire eastern side of his, everything. We have a lot of T2 units, a couple of T3 mixed in there. Those Ilshis, oh man, those things are just nightmares over those things. Those things are deadly. I don't care if there's 1 or 100 of them. They're just annoying. We have in the west here, of course, Seal helping out where he can. in that front line. It does look like Pavor making some progress here, very similar to what System Failure is doing here on the east, trying to push on this western side. There's really not a whole lot to defend with, and a lot of them are T3 off them, so they have a lot of DPS and hit points on those tanks. This group of Ilshis and tanks need to keep moving because a couple bombers to come in and deal a heck of a lot of damage to these. Loyalists need to start being replaced with bricks here. They just need the DPS, not the Loyalists are really good with their EMP weapons, but you need the hit point advantage with those bricks. You just do at this stage with T2, T3 Ilshis and Optims like that. You need those hit points. We have a Whaler here in the west with no contention in the air, of course, because the air grid is gone. There's some ASF still online, so that's some saving grace. And he's going to probably start churning out something. He still has the Cybran technology because he is a Cybran, so he doesn't lose access to that. Of course, he still has the Seraphim tech because it's everywhere now. That's really his main force. And he's doing like I said, a very good job attacking this western side. We have some Titans trying to do what they can and hold off the Optims and Ilshis. Pillars in the mix as well. The broadsword should... Okay, I was like, do not land because it will die. In this position, going to start to be fortified with T2 Triads, which does a dual thing. It protects against some Telemazer potentiality against Pavor, and it does protect the main base of what was once Bottle of Water, now it's Seal. So it does a twofold job, and that's something that is, you don't have to worry about, like, oh, I spent all that mass building PD. I'm like, yeah, I get, not focusing on air construction or whatever the case may be, but against Cybran commanders, if you have PD in your base, at least it has some sort of deterrent, so it's not all bad. So it's only when a nuke comes in and blows everything up when you're like, yeah, I wish I didn't spend my mass on that. But that's a case for a different time, of course. But this force here to the east has done a very good job holding strong. They lose a couple of members every once in a while, but this position will fall. The units here are not that strong here for Team 2 to hold out. You, again, need those bricks here, and System Failure really is just feeling the pain here. He has some Optims coming in from the middle of the map and is really just screwing with Team 2's eco. Huge amount of, mass being lost here just due to the fact of that. Team 2 is still leading at 450 to 270. ASF fight does occur here over the middle, but like I said earlier, even if Team 2 might lose the air fight, they have T3 air facilities that Team 1 does not, and they will actually win that air fight regardless. And so Team 1 is completely boxed out of the air for now, and I don't see any effort to go back into there for now. Maybe he'll rebuild. I think that's what he is doing here pretty soon. But it looks like he'll just go straight Seraphim, not even go back to Cybran Tech. I mean, you'd have to build up, a bunch of facilities to do that, so I don't blame him on that regard. But we have T2 Starlifters being used for air defense, and just look at the pitiful damage on these things. Not a lot of hit points per second, but anything is better than nothing. Team 2 needs some defenses online for their main base and secondary bases here, and a huge amount of engineers have fled to the southwest section of the map to be protected and start building up that air grid. That is where Team 2 has the huge advantage. Look at this. Let me just zoom out for a second. Look at all the mass points that are just available to be conquered. Look at this. Like, we have 4, 7, a huge amount in the middle, another 7 over here. That's 14. That's probably 30 mexes on screen. Actually, probably more. Probably 40 mexes, including the main base in the rear. So probably 40 something mexes that have been destroyed at 28 minutes. That's like a lot of mass points that are just gone. You can see Team 2's eco has really just taken a hit. They were at 350 almost, and now they're at 250. You can see that is slowly falling even more. There is a monkey here for System Failure, so that will end this push. Things do go down to notice that, but that's not going to save those forces, unfortunately, here for Pavor. Man, look at this. He's just wiping everything off the map south of this middle line here. There is, an odd engineer or two, but really, at this stage, he's just going to pump out T3 units and just call it a day. Look at this. Look at all these Optims at 30 minutes. He doesn't even care. At 50, 56 currently on the map here. 28, 29 minutes. That is a lot of, that's a lot of Optims. And this Monkey Lord is perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, has 13 kills on it. Good number there. And yeah, second one is being built and will actually be completed. It's going to be close, though, because the Optims can do, you know, a lot of damage very quickly due to their rapid fireness on their tanks. And if they focus that P-Gen, they'll kill a lot of the engineers. Unfortunately, the Monkey Lord has been finished. The P-Gen was reclaimed at the last second, so great job here by System Failure. Of course, he was, you know, probably staring over this position as we were talking about it. He was able to just quickly get that reclaim order off, prevent that explosion. Would have killed a lot of his build power, but he saved it at the last second, so good move on System Failure. And Pavward still trying to establish some sort of sense of normalcy. This entire position was wiped out, needs to rebuild that up there. These positions are thriving currently. He has a chicken online. Good to see that. Has some naval forces in the west and in the east. He owns both pawns, at least the major pawns. Has a couple of frigates just to hold position for now. I don't think Team 2 is going to go back in the water. I think they're going to focus on air and land. And honestly, at this point, with no air to really speak of for Team 1, that is the play. You get a bunch of gunships, you get a bunch of ASFs, you get some bombers, and you just rain fire from the skies, essentially, at this point. One lonely monkey, I don't like this. I never, ever like it. I don't care if you're a 100 rated player, a 1,000 rated player, a 2,000 rated player, a 3,000 rated player. Having one experimental, regardless of what it is, just by itself, no support, no AA, no nothing, not even T1 units, is just very, very hard to watch, because all it takes is just a couple, not a couple, but, you know, 20, 25 T3 units, depending on the experimental, just wipe it off. That's a mass dump. I get it if it's very early on and you want to keep it hidden for a little bit. I understand that, but at 31 minutes in this game, I mean, I know there's been a lot of craziness. The map is not what it was, about 10 minutes ago when I was talking about who's going to win this game. If the monkey just goes and takes out these facilities, it's not worth it because the Navy isn't doing anything. It's mass that Team 1 is spending. Going after Othams, going after anything, long-lasting would be preferable. Trying to prevent the reconstruction of the northeastern air grid would be good. The Othams are trying to intercept where the monkey is going to go, and that monkey is going straight for them. And he goes, honestly, I'm watching the. It's funny, I can have the little hand icon, but can't actually move it. Othams are trying to intercept the monkey before it gets into the water, and this is a mass dump here. Yeah, it'll kill a couple of tanks, sure, but man, it isn't really accomplishing a whole lot. There's really nothing a lot to go after. Yeah, it probably kills decent chunky units, but it drops 10,000 mass on the field for Team 1, so I don't think it was really worth it. There's another one here to the west doing the same thing. It's doing a better job because it's not fighting a chicken, but still, it's taking out 10 or 15 Othams, but 16 maybe, but still dropping 10,000 mass. I get the understanding if it was like, these are the only units he has, I have another monkey in tow, I can push the front line better. I get that, but Team 2 doesn't really have anything else besides those monkeys. System Failure would be better off to maybe build a crab and use it as long range damage. At least that you would get the range advantage. You'd be able to back up a little bit, and just use the experimental more effectively. Use the mass more effectively. The power of A2K. Power of A2K, like a 2,000 rated player. Yeah, just Kenny Lee making the comment that you can see just because he's outnumbered and outgunned does not mean he can't fight back. And yeah, look at these Othams. We talked about how there was 50-something on the field earlier. There's 64 now, even with the kills that have happened by those two monkeys. And see this, I would like to see AA support / air support, to be fair. But at least in terms of support, the chicken has 7,300 hit points, one veterancy, 73,000, not 100, 73,000 hit points. But, every Otham adds about another 5,000 damage that could be mitigated if, something is targeting those instead of the chicken. So, it makes a difference. There is some flak on board. It's not great. Oh, there is some AA in the mix here. And those gunships go, probably shouldn't, which is kind of fair, but not really. The flak against broadswords is fine. You just need large numbers. The lightning tanks, however, that's, really where it is. You can see a full health broadsword. Essentially, it takes a couple of lightning barrages, and that's it. It's gone. We have an air scout effort to try to understand what's going on in Team 2. Missile launcher, says Kenny. Oh, sorry, Monkey Lord. Not missile launcher. Same initials, just different meaning. And look at this. Still, the middle has not really been reclaimed by either team. Team 2 has the advantage. They just need to establish some PD. And, you know, one lonely Autumn can do a lot of damage if it isn't being protected. And we have a Percival, you know, just sitting there not doing a whole lot. That broadsword should come back. I know it's trying to take out outlying things. It looks like an air grid was starting to be established once again. Broadsword's focusing it once again, trying to eliminate Team 1's air, you know, attempts at this point. And really, Team 1, Pavor, is really struggling to get some sort of air facility online and established and kept in the long term. He's gonna, oh, I love this play here by Seal. He's gonna go in the rear where there's no protection, there's nothing, and just kill everything that was here. It's gonna take time to rebuild those engineers, send them out there, rebuild those mechs. So I love that play. Again, essentially at this point, like in a 2v1 scenario against a higher skilled player who has, well, not as much mass. The idea is you want to just keep poking and prodding him. You want his APM to be taxed. You want to take out all his APM, or most of his APM, as much as you can. Essentially keep him constantly distracted, and then you have one goal in mind, which is I'm going to kill him. Or at least kill like a huge target. So this would be a nice target up here. You know, the middle base here that has the T3 land headquarters, that'd be a good grab. You know, having to rebuild that would just be a pain. And can't target him in the water, of course, but that's the idea, is you keep nipping him, you keep prodding him, you keep just annoying him, you know, every which way, assassinating, you know, mechs or units as you can to just annoy. We have a lot more AA being built here by Pavor. He knows he doesn't have air, and so his really only way to fight it is to counter it with AA, either it be mobile or not. And so, you know, his advantage is land, so he's pushing with his land advantage and also trying to mitigate the disadvantage, which is air. I mean, he has Navy. Team 2 isn't going to go into Navy anytime soon. At least that's what he's thinking. There's really not a whole lot of effort. Just a couple of frigates to prevent engineers from just, you know, lazily going over there kind of thing. And these lightning tanks need to be moved up a little bit. I know they're trying to stay at range against these broadswords, but these Autumns are just dying here. A large number of T1 engineers just hanging out on the battlefield. There are some Percys and Parashields back there running around. There's 2 Monkey Lords coming to intercept. Percival's in water, says Kenny. And, yeah, there's 2 of them. You know, they don't have torpedoes on board, so it's, you know, not a huge of a threat. But still a threat nonetheless. The broadswords on the east still being annoying here, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, constantly taking out eco, constantly just nipping at everyone, forcing everything, forcing more mass to be spent on building defenses, constantly taxing that APM and all of that. We have Autumns approaching out of the water here, but they are going to run into some Percys with shield coverage, so it will mitigate a lot of that incoming damage. The first lead Autumn has been taken out. Broadswords coming in to assist as well, so really this push isn't going to mean a whole lot. Those monkeys are just going to run around the map. We have a bug. See, now this a position where you know Team 1 doesn't have realistically any air, or yeah, really it doesn't, has an air scout. That's about it. You have air. You've had it for a long time. You know, having this bug is very important. You don't want to lose it easily to AA. You need to get in, clear the way, and then push with it. The only issue is that there is, you know, more and more land forces being deployed, more AA, you know, T2 and T3 variety, and you can see those hit points constantly falling here. Not as fast as you might imagine, but we have, of course, just SMDs lining the front line constantly. And it looks like, look, the bug is targeting them directly, saying, I don't want to be shot at. Stop shooting at me. And those broadswords did a heck of a number here on Pavor in the east. More and more effort has to be put here by Pavor to protect this. He knows it's weak. He needs to send more units, send more mass, send more everything. And it just distracts constantly. Delays more plans he has in the middle. Delays more building up of other units he wanted to build. Those broadswords were quickly eliminated. Probably not the best idea to send those in. Not guarded. Could have, reinforced this position. Or not position, this squadron of broadswords. It looks like there's just a broadsword fighting a frigate. It's not really only going to go one way, honestly. But we have a drop inbound from Team 2's player of Seal into this position. He's running into a little bit of flak, a little bit of AA, but of course they're on frigates, so not that powerful in terms of that. We have Percy's landing on the coastline. Team 1's player Padmore obviously will know this, and they're in his sight of vision, so it looks, I like the play. I don't like that everything's destroyed already. So you send them in, and you go, oh, it's a nice takeout T2, T3 stuff. Nope, it's all gone. The lightning tanks ran away. They knew they couldn't fight these. Percy's is just going to roam the map here. Frigates are like literally off the map, essentially. Like, look, Bah, I'm on the edge. And a lot of engineers probably will die, but they'll probably spam up T1 PD to protect themselves. We do have, I do like this. He is splitting his Percy's up, not to keep them all, tightly wound. He wants to keep them spread out. Spread Team 1's, or I keep saying Team 1, Padmore's attention constantly. You see in the middle here, one lonely Monkey Lord against a, double chicken with a bunch of T3 support. Two Monkey Lords. The Soul Ripper's going to come and take out the Navy facilities, and maybe we'll see a play for Navy at 40 minutes in this game. Who knows? But T1 PD trying to be established. You can see the awesome power of the Percy's trying to do what they can and hold off this push. It's just taxing the eco for Team 1's player, Padmore. I keep saying that. It's just Padmore. Taxing the eco for Padmore. Constantly annoying him. Constantly going after stuff. We even have engineers just going after the reclaim order, trying to get some damage on these things. And look, those hit points are falling. They're going down slowly, but they're going down. And they're running around the map here, just taxing Padmore. Megalith has been built here by system failure. Is there anything going on in the air grid? Nope. No nuke, no artillery, not even no lasers, no satellites. Kind of an interesting play here. I mean, Team 2 has 600 mass per second. Team 1, even though they're Padmore is suffering significantly, is keeping up with them at 550. It is a decent amount. He has T2 online, coming online for T3 pretty shortly. So he's trying to fight back in the air. Those Percy's have slowly been dealt with, but been a lot of distractions here. These units aren't being microed as well, of course, because it looks like Seal's focused on other things. But one shot takes out a T1 PD. There it goes. More and more engineers trying to build what they can to defend. We have broadswords running around the map in the north here, going after T3 mechs as well as anything of value. But there's, again, more AA they have to fight with, and they're killing off engineers, which, again, just slows down the process a little bit. Does get one T3 PGen, does get something out of it, but they're just being less and less effective because Padmore is constantly trying to mitigate that disadvantage with AA. So the issue I have with Team 2, I mean, they are starting to mitigate that with a more land pressure, but if you know your opponent is countering you with AA, for example, and you have an advantage in the air, stop running gunships in and build up a bunch of land forces and just move. Where my comm going? What the Seal? Where's Seal's comm? Wait, where's Seal's commander? Hold on, where did he go? Wait, he gave some order to move, and I don't think he meant for it to move. Where is that comm? Oh, it's over here. What's he doing over here? He's hanging out. Wanted to walk on the front line with his troops or something. Yeah, system failure pointed out. That's really weird, really funny. But anyway, we have two Monkey Lords, a Soul Ripper, and a Crab. Team 1 does not have AA. Oh, sorry, air. They have AA. This bug will be fine against, of course, a rush of air forces. But, the Crab needs to clear the way with a bunch of its long-range capabilities. 43 minutes in this game. We're looking at Team 1 with more reclaim, but they were losing in the mass per second department at almost 200 mass per second deficit. It's a huge disadvantage here. There's only one player left of Padmore. He's trying to do what he can. We have Percy's running around the map. They will be dealt with here shortly. And they're still just annoying Pavor. He's lost all of his engineers, so that position is just debunked for now. Does look like we have a couple of shields coming online to protect frontline assets, preventing some sort of run-bys. Large group of units congregating here to the west. Maybe another possible hot drop on the cards. Does look like Pavor has lost his facilities to the west as well in terms of Navy. And it does look like he's just going to build a line of SAM sites, or sorry, T3AA defense, because they're not SAMs. They're just direct. Well, they're not direct fire. They're essentially just a sniper bot shot, essentially, but against an air unit. We have T2 Nathas going after ground units. Not going to do a whole lot against bricks, but I love to see some AA from these monkeys. Would love to see some bouncers. And I know Team 2 doesn't need to really worry about that. But we are seeing that air grid being built quite hastily here by Team Paver, I should say at this point, just Team Paver. Trying to do what he can. He has T3. He does have access to that technology, but doesn't have it in large quantities. He's waiting on bated breath to push with his land forces. And realistically, this, whatever force wins, I think might win the game. We have 4 land experimentals and an air one versus and some gunship pressure versus what, two chickens. We have 2 chickens, 3rd chicken to the north, I think. And it looks like there is some sort of movement. Gonna be a long one, boys, says Kenny. I mean, it might be. We know it does last a little bit under an hour, so we got, roughly 15 minutes left. Chicken just kind of taking pot shots against engineers. It's going to be more of a slow one. A lot of the action happened early on, and so the game is kind of simmered down. We've had a lot of raiding parties. We've had a lot of, run-throughs, that sort of thing, but no big ostentatious plays. Nothing in terms of, a nuke would be great here by either team. We have SMD, but a nuke by Paver would be choice. We did see a Percy making on the land, but didn't really get much of anything out of it. Those 2 Monkey Lords leading the way with their 2 Crab Brethren with a horde of bricks. Now this is a brick wall, essentially. It's using its range with its crabs to push forward against the chickens that have no support, essentially. All those Othams to the east are just not really doing anything. There are 2 chickens with them as well. So 4 chickens, 5 chickens almost in the rear here. Those chickens will have to retreat just due to the fact that the crabs possess the better range scenario. And if the chickens come in range, the monkeys will rush in with their lasers. The chickens are trying to establish some sort of pincer maneuver here, trying to force those land forces from system failure further north, that these forces to the east can intercept them. But I think, well, not that I think, I know that Team 2's system failure notices this. And so he's keeping them moving kind of in a north-northwest direction. Or it should be west by northwest, I guess would be the actual nomenclature for that sort of movement. Group of engineers trying to establish some sort of missile line. And you see some missiles. They're not going to go after the comm, are they? That'd be pretty funny. The comm isn't very deep, though. His head is, just barely below the surface, so he could be sniped. But T2 Torp bombers don't do anything against ground units. You kind of need bombs for that. Those chickens are going to engage those crabs that really aren't, in the best position to do so. The frontline crab will take a lot of the firepower. But the first chicken will feel the wrath of that ion storm here soon. ASF's over the top here for Team 2's player of Seal. And those crabs need to move, or they're just going to take it. And the first crab is down. A nice engagement by Pavor. He doesn't have the numbers, but he has the positioning of units. And he does a great job taking out 1 crab with 2 chickens. And now we have a set of 3 chickens to the west, supported by a bunch of AA, and it looks like he's going to target those first. That is the best play in that scenario. The crab is constantly retreating. The bricks need to charge in and just stop this chicken from coming in. We have multiple chickens now firing onto those Megalith. Megalith gets a rank of veterancy, but doesn't get a whole lot of hit points out of it. Where did those Monkey Lords go? Did they die off? I don't know where they went. Anyway, the second crab does go down. Broadswords brought in to take out the chickens, but really it's Team 1's game. They own the middle of the map now. Lots of mass to scoop up. 3 more chickens still online. We have the Bug, the Soul Ripper, moving to the east with no AA pressure. There is still some lightning bots and lightning tanks in range, but not as many. We do have a nuke online. The nuke hasn't been loaded yet. The SMD in the rear has been started, but isn't loaded as well. That will finish before the nuke. Team 2 squandered a nice opportunity that they had, but it looks like they were outgunned, at least in terms of strategy, at least a little bit. The crab really wasn't in the best position. I still don't know where those monkey lords went. Oh, they're over here. Oh, so that's what they were doing. So they went all the way around and are now going after this northern base here for Team 1's player of Pavor. So really, the main, fighting is going on in the middle here and in the north. How much of those those monkey lords going to get done? 2 monkey lords will kill a chicken, but I keep saying fat boy. The chicken ion storm might be enough to thwart this push. There's a lot of PD that has been built up for defense. The first monkey lord needs to survive long enough to at least kill off the first chicken, the only chicken, and it does. The ion storm needs to engage and take out the monkey lord, and a lot of HP is being lost on it very quickly. Oh, it does come out of range though. It needs to take out the SMD. That's the most important thing. How's that push going down south? Well, it is now being intercepted by a bunch of Perseus. We have a couple of crabs. We'll switch right back over for a brief second. The monkey lord needs to keep pushing south into this base and take out the SMD. Took out a lot of mass with that, but really did a whole lot essentially. Going back southward, the chickens are going westward, trying to avoid the incoming crabs being chased. Run, the chickens run from the crabs essentially. We have some, there's some ASF fighting back there? No, it's just them coming in and out of frame for render distance. But the chickens trying to do their best to escape from the oppressive nature of those crabs. You can see them in the distance. You gotta get out of there before their range overwhelms them. The lightning tanks here are protecting those chickens quite nicely, but we have more T2 PD coming online. That's going to be stopped very quickly. Nuke still online, halfway loaded. SMD was not taken out, but oh no, the monkey lord gets away, being chased by a chicken. How? All I have to say is, how is that thing not dead? Lightning tanks being very oppressive here. Line of PD trying to do what it can, but with the AoE effects from the guns from the chickens, it really just messes with those lineups. And that Soul Ripper is badly wounded. More PD needs to be built as we speak, and it is. Team 2's player of Seal might lose his air base with 3 chickens, and it's a lot of lightning tanks really mitigating that incoming damage from those broadswords that could be there. And there goes the Soul Ripper ripped out of the sky, lands next to those chickens. Doesn't do a whole lot. The crabs looks like they were, they're pushing northward with this push coming in from Pavor. He's trying to scoop up all that mass. And the base in the south, Team 1's player Pavor getting revenge from his early destruction from the air. He's getting nice revenge. Everything is dead here. The air grid is gone. The T3 air headquarters is gone. And all those chickens need to do is just walk across the water. It's very dire here for Team 2. They've lost their huge advantage. They still have air forces, mind you, but they don't have a lot. They don't have a way to replenish those. Team 1, even though it's small, still has one. The form of course, Pavor is, the only player on Team 1 for a while. But Bricks are pushing in with crab support. Once again, Monkey Lord in the rear. These chickens need to be dealt with sooner rather than later. They're just being annoying here for Team 2. They're rooting for Team 2. They're in kind of a not great position here. It does look like the chicken is just going to keep moving eastward. Does he know where the comm is? No, he's just walking. Okay, I was like, there's no way he knows where that comm is. It's just going to post up here. Built different, says Kenny Lee. Yes, this game was built different. And we have the brick wall pushing forward here in that front line production facilities for Pavor. We have 4 chickens online, 1 coming online in the rear, and more coming online all the time, of course. The bricks trying to do what they can. These crabs need to come in and assist. That chicken will fall. This production facility is going to go up in smokes here. They're taking out mass. You need to worry about those experimentals. That is actually the bigger threat, especially with more coming online all the time. Pavor said, I'm going to win it with chickens. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to win it. I don't care about air. I'm just going to win it with land. I'm going to win it with chickens, because why not? And those chickens need to halt just for a brief second, or they'll take unnecessary damage. Nice quad facility going to be gone here in a few seconds. Ion Storm still hasn't hit the crabs yet. And it is offline, so now they can push. Those bricks were waiting for the Ion Storm and those crabs to come into range. And of course now they've grouped up for those crabs, so it's for those chickens. I keep saying a lot of like C words here. There are 4 chickens soon to come online. There's one in the rear here for Pavor. One does fall. Target the pigeons. Get that nice volatile explosion. Second chicken does fall. The bricks are holding strong. Ion Storm's going off. Taking out friendly structures. Targeting the chicken that is being built. Does look like the Monkey Lord does die. And those pigeons are going to fall here pretty soon. Take out the rest of those engineers. One engineer is still online. And those crabs are being surrounded by chickens. It's not going to go good for those crabs. How's that pigeon? That pigeon is not dead, surprisingly. The engineers have died, but the structures have not. And now it's a 2v1 scenario, but that crab is severely wounded. And now the Iron Storm pummeling this megalith as well. Team 2 has dumped a heck of a lot of mass. Team 1 as well. You know, we have raiding parties to the east by bricks. The air grid is gone. This base is gone here for Seal. This base for system failure is gone. You will perish at my hands, says Pavor. Has a little taunt. Team 2 does have a nuke. They just need to find the comm. The comm is not protected by SMD. The SMD is gone. It was over to the west anyways. All Team 2 needs to do it. And the nuke is going to land here, not next to the comm. The comm is going to immediately move without hesitation. I feel like that nuke probably could have been useful for taking out those chickens, to be fair. But Monkey's just roaming the map down here, trying to do what they can to hold off that push. And that production facility is going to go down. A lot of engineers are fleeing. And there it goes, the air. The T3 air facility might be safe. You know, I say that, and then it blows up. No, it blows up. Wait, does it? No, it's still online. Okay, just really weird shade. Takes out a decent amount of engineers, takes out a decent amount of mass there. Look at this. It's now just another wasteland here in the middle here. But just bricks. The group of bricks are still online. The chicken is not in position. There's nothing to defend this. These pigeons are going to go down. There's a couple of engineers running around the map. They have a couple of Utashalas, but doesn't look very good here for Team 1's player, Pavor, the last remaining player on his team. That chicken is not going to live to see its birth. Going to sit here and actually be focused down by the bricks. They don't care. They don't want another chicken to deal with. We have some Notha fighter bombers online with some air damage. Not a whole lot, but, you know, something's better than nothing, of course. Bricks are just going to charge in. I'll take off at least a little the menu so at least you can get a better view of the incoming bricks that are just going to punch through. There's a lot of Team 1 PD online, so, you know, that will help mitigate some of those bricks. We have the the chicken coming in. Chicken comes in and wipe out the rest of these bricks, but the damage is mostly done here. I didn't need to push that button. There we go. We have missile launchers in the middle of the map. There's some there's some chickens. I don't know. After this game, I don't know. I have to like look at a picture of a chicken and a crab, be like, that's a crab, that's a chicken, that's a crab, that's a chicken. And to the east, more bricks being built up for defense. That nuke is being severely assisted now here, actually being assisted by Seal as well, so both players getting a hand in trying to raise that nuke from its silo. The chickens are coming in though, and they're very close to that vital facility here. One of them does die, but it only takes one, and there's nothing really to defend. The monkeys have died, and so actually Team 2 will lose their nuke. Oh, that's gotta hurt. There it goes, up in smoke. We have the chicken just running around taking everything else. Team 2 and Team 1 severely wounded, but I think Pavor has the better handle on what is left online. 2 more chickens are coming in to intercept the middle here, and it does not look good here for Team 2. If you thought it was going to go one way, were you right? Was it going to go the other way? Were you wrong? Let me know down in the comments here. At 58 minutes in this game, Pavor is still alive. He's still kicking. He didn't really have any air forces with which to speak of, if I can talk. Which, you know, calling a chicken a crab and a crab a chicken. Apparently not. Scout for command. There's a team. Was that team 2? Was that team 1? Oh, that was team 2 system failure. But Kenny saying a lot of reclaim. That is, that's a lot of reclaim. Let's check it. He said 151,000 and 445,000 reclaim in a 3v3 ladder match. That's a lot. So that's a lot of reclaim. Look at this. Team Red is almost non-existent at this point. Both their comms are hiding in the water. One of them is a Cybran, so maybe he'll go for laser, but he doesn't even have the power to do so. Figuratively and literally. ASF's coming in, going to take out the air facility, get some sort of, moral victory out of that, where they locked out Pavor once again from the air. But realistically, maybe he'll come out of the water. No, maybe he'll pop his head out a little bit, and nope. Literally, his little spikes are barely peeking out. Team 2 does not. Nope, they don't know where it is. And the Soul Ripper's just going to run around the map, take out whatever he can. Red team does recall from the match. They know where it was going. It was fun watching you guys try to break a 2K. I think that's not the thumbnail for the video, but that definitely cements what happened in this game. Easy loses. I mean, it wasn't easy. It was definitely hard fought, and I bet Pavor was just like constantly worried about whatever. But he just gave up on air. He kept going into it a little bit, but he wasn't super focused on getting back into air. He thought, I lost air. Maybe I'll just build into the background. Maybe I'll get something out of it. But he really focused land. Team 2, once they killed the other 2 players, they really didn't have a goal in mind. They just wanted to kill everything. They had nice, constant, annoying, the Soul Ripper, the monkeys, the Perseus, everything was just annoying. But they weren't able to super capitalize on it. I think had they gone into Navy a little bit, maybe they could have done something with that, build some destroyers on both sides, cruisers, something to just essentially lock land or air out, at least on those sides of the map. But man, Pavor just said, I'm going to take all my land. And I don't think he built a single Cybran ground unit. I think he just built Seraphim. Yeah, he built only Seraphim, only built chickens. And just said, here are these chickens. I'm going to shove them down your throat. You're going to enjoy that KFC or Chick-fil-A or Popeyes or whatever chicken place you like. Or if there's any other place in other countries, I don't know what other chicken places there are. I can't think of any. Anyway, but I think MVP, I mean, I don't try to give it just to the highest rated player, but I mean, he's still alive. Granted, the other 2 players just evac, so they're technically still alive. But anyway, they lost. He struggled for a very long time. It looked like it was pretty dicey for him with that combined push. They took out, this eastern side. I think had this force survived a lot more forces survived, it would have meant the end for him. But because he was able to at least hold them off, there's a couple crabs and monkeys and stuff. He just had enough to keep pumping out units. And so he didn't really, end with a lot of mass per second. He only ended with, actually not really a whole lot, to be fair. He actually ended with the most mass per second. So, there's a victory in that. But yeah, he was the MVP of this game. There's no MUPs. I think everybody played to their rankings. Everyone did a good job in general. Early assassinations and whatnot doesn't really help, of course. But, Pavor did a great job. Congratulations to him. Team 1 ended up winning the game. Even though those 2 players were eliminated early, you still won. Doesn't matter if you leave at 1 minute or 1 hour. If your team still wins, your team still wins. Let me know down in the comments if my opinion of the MVP is underrated, overrated, or exactly rated. And of course, like the video, hit that comment section down below. Talk to one another. Talk about the match. Talk to me. And again, enjoy the Christmas holiday season. Again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see all of you in the next one.